It's not just the last couple of years. We're talking about gas supplies, exports, some gas now being sold back to us from Japan, that we've exported. It's crazy.
With those long-term contracts that, become sovereign risks if we're suddenly ripping up contracts with other nations. There are a suite of issues, but front and centre is the pursuit of 100% renewables policy by this government, by state Labor governments around the country, and that has left us in this situation. I just find it incredible, and that's why our plan around including nuclear energy into our future decadal mix on energy provision is so transformative and visionary, because it's not only going to set us up to 2050 with our net zero targets, but it will be powering our nation and our industrial base into the next century. So that's the sort of thinking and policy foresight we need heading into this next federal election, not the weak excuses from Chris Bowen that we're hearing today.
Are you worried about the future of the alliance, given I know you're a strong supporter of the US-Australia alliance and relationship, but there'd be many everyday Australians wondering what on earth is going on here?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, well, that's what happens when you can't pick up the phone. You refuse to get on a plane and form a relationship with someone you've actually publicly said you're scared of. And that's what our Prime Minister has done on the election of President Trump. We've now got our steel and aluminium industries subjected to American tariffs. Where there's another round of tariff negotiations come April 2. We're very concerned that agriculture will be on the list. We've got in excess of $3 billion beef industry there. But no country's
been exempt. So even if we did show up at the Oval Office, is it a stretch to say that would have been pivotal, because no country's got an exemption? None of the nations that have been there to visit.
Well, I think what President Trump has made clear is that it is about relationships. The strong advocacy and strong relationship of the former coalition government was able to achieve an exemption previously. And what we've seen here from the Prime Minister is his lack of experience, his inexperience around foreign affairs isn't just evidence in this disastrous outcome for Australia, but in a raft of national security, geopolitical, geostrategic failures and lack of missed calls, if you like, making the wrong calls on those sort of topics for the last 3 years that have left us weaker as a nation. And I think it's not going to hurt, Kieran, right? It can only help if Anthony Albanese does that. But, we've always got to stand up for our national interest.
Well, it could hurt if you end up having a meeting like President Zelensky had. That didn't go too well. You'd want it to go well.
That didn't go too well, but, a couple of weeks later, we're actually starting to talk ceasefires in that region. So they may be method in the approach. I think we've got to be all on Team Australia. We've got to be making sure that not just our steel manufacturing and our alumina and aluminium manufacturing is protected, but also, concerningly, this next round of tariff negotiations with the US on April 2 doesn't include agriculture. And I want to see both the Prime Minister...
You're saying that we need to be on Team Australia. The government says that your team is actually... you're not on Team Australia at the moment, because you're defending the Trump approach when it's the US and Donald Trump that are slapping the tariffs on.
No one's defending the US putting the tariff on.
Oh, we've lost
what that tariff application shows is the Prime Minister's failure to secure the exemption. We all want the exemption. There's only one Prime Minister that's actually failed to achieve it, and that's Anthony Albanese. That's our criticism.
Bridget McKenzie, thanks so much for your time. We'll catch you soon. We'll talk to you soon.